What's up, guys? Kind of the spur of the moment live stream here. I had a little bit of time, usually don't. And a couple of students in my class, we've been breaking down in my VIP mentorship class, we've been breaking down the research one by one. All the available published research on muscle growth comparing 1 versus 3 sets or single versus multiple sets with the subjects training to failure. And in the process of breaking them down, I figured I would break them down for you guys. Normally, this is something I only do in my VIP mentorship class. If you're interested in learning the real science behind exercise in full detail, being taught by me personally, and transforming your physique in the process, there is a link in the description to join my mentorship course. And we go over the research in detail, and I show you guys how to read the research, interpret the research, and analyze it. So a couple days ago, we were going over it, and I figured I would go over the single versus multiple set training research with you guys for the purpose of debunking this Brad Schoenfeld, Mike Israetel utter complete nonsense. I don't know if they've read the research or if they're aware of the research and emotionally attached to what they've been doing for the majority of their career. But the research is very, very evident. Single set training versus multiple set training, when taken to failure, do not have significant differences in results. Believe it or not, one of the studies by Bataro et al. Showed that single set training for biceps resulted in slightly more growth than multiple set training. And the thing is, you've got tons and tons of people just blasting out set after set after set for the biceps with little to no growth. Now, my recommendation to you is to cut it back. Based on my own research, supervised personally over 20,000 workouts with my clients, and I have found through all of my data, keep in mind, I have filing cabinets full of workout sheets, workout cards with recorded data, body composition measurements, strength improvements, bioimpedance measurements over the past 7 years. And I found that single sets, if done properly, the way I show you, are usually more effective. So I'm going to show the research today, take a couple questions, because the thing is, it's just a shame that there's an agenda in the fitness industry, just like there's an agenda in politics, just like there's an agenda with everything. There's an agenda, and likely driven by, I was on the phone with a new student in my VIP mentorship, and he's a 69-year-old physician, and tons of wisdom this guy has. And we're talking about research and how research is misinterpreted or constructed in a way to push an agenda. And what he says is, follow the money. And for one reason or another, and I can't quite put my finger on why, the multiple set high volume training must be following the money. I mean, my opinion is that the more people go to the gym, the more supplements are taken, consumed, and sold. The more apparel, the more sneakers, the more classes are sold, the more training sessions are sold. It's very evident that going to the gym more frequently in the fitness industry will result in more revenue for pretty much everybody involved, which probably is why it is this way. But when you look at the research, the specific details of this research that everybody has access to, that everybody looks at, doesn't appear that more frequency or more sets and more volume is any better. All right, so we're going to go into that. Daily reminder that Mike O'Hearn is a beta. Mike O'Hearn is probably the biggest beta male on YouTube. He's so emotional. You could tell, boy, if you went up to Mike O'Hearn and said your hair is messy, he'd probably have a mental breakdown, which is hilarious. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go into 3 studies. There are plenty more, but I figured you guys probably have the attention span for 3. So we're going to go over 3 studies. The first one, let's see. Where are you? This is Starkey. All right. So one study, this has been referred to by Brad Schoenfeld and his research. Everybody uses a study. It's a very good study. Now, keep in mind, there have probably been far more studies on comparisons in resistance training volume. 1 versus 3 sets versus 5, whatever. But they will only be published in a journal if they show any sort of significant difference or any difference at all, or they wouldn't publish. For instance, this study showed no difference. They're not going to publish another study which also shows no difference. That's called the filing cabinet phenomenon. In research, there are probably tons and tons and tons of studies showing what's already been showed in research, and they're not going to publish them. Why would they? So there are a bunch of studies showing the comparison between 1 set and 3 sets if done to failure being no different. But there are probably many, many more that have not been published. Because what is the point of publishing a study that doesn't show anything new, right? All right, so here is, Starkey, Pollack, bunch of other scientists. Okay, this was done in 1996. Keep in mind, this stupid argument. There's no such thing as old and outdated research. If a particular phenomenon has been disproven, then it becomes outdated. But just because we've known something for a long time does not make it untrue. The study was done in 1996. That does not mean it's outdated. We discovered the Earth was round thousands of years ago. That does not mean the Earth is not round anymore. Okay, just because we've known something for a long time doesn't mean it's outdated. That's a stupid argument. People who are not willing to accept the same results in training volumes use because they have no other argument, unfortunately. So the purpose of this study was to determine the effects of different volumes, high intensity resistance training on isometric torque and muscle thickness. Okay, so keep in mind, the proper way to measure increases in strength is isometric torque, isometric muscle torque, because it requires little to no skill involvement. Studies that use a bench press or a squat or a deadlift will show better improvements with more training volume and more sets. Why? Practice. There is skill involved in these movements. For instance, if I practice throwing a football once a week, I would not get as good at throwing a football as if I practice three times a week. Okay? So when they're using studies to measure strength with skill-based movements or technical movements like a bench press, obviously, the person who practices the bench press more will develop more neuromuscular efficiency and ability to move more weight, therefore a bigger increase in strength. But we need to remember the bench press is not a demonstration of just strength. It is a demonstration of a combination of strength and skill. That is why smart exercise scientists who don't have an agenda and really have no dog in the race measure it with isometric torque, the amount of force a muscle can produce. Okay, so they use isometric torque and muscle thickness. So the training was conducted 3 times per week using 1 set or 3 sets. So one group did 1 set 3 times a week. One group did 3 sets 3 times a week with knee extension, bilateral knee extension, 1 leg at a time, and knee flexion, isometric torque. Movements which require no skill at all. They tested them at different degrees, as you can see, using MedX. What did they find? So what they found was increases in muscle thickness at all these positions, increase in muscle thickness at these positions. In conclusion, keep in mind, these are not the increases. These are the positions of which they measured muscle thickness, positions on the muscle. 1 set of high-intensity resistance training was as effective as 3 sets for increasing knee extension and knee flexion strength and muscle thickness. So let's go down to the muscle thickness testing. This is how they measure the muscle thickness. They measured from different positions of the muscles, the vastus medialis and the vastus lateralis, different positions of them. The results in muscle thickness. Let's see. Muscle thickness for the anterior and lateralis thigh muscles did not change for control group, obviously. Although the magnitude of change in muscle thickness of the medialis was similar for the 1 and 3 set groups, it only reached significant relative to the control group in 3. Muscle thickness for the lateral muscles showed a small increase, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Okay, here's the important part. But it was not significant when compared to 1 set and 3 set groups. Okay. Muscle thickness for the posterior, 40% of the length, 60% of the measured length, increased significantly and of similar magnitude for both the 1 set and 3 set groups. So what does that mean? They increased about the same amount. No significant statistical difference between 1 and 3 sets in terms of muscle thickness. Okay. That's one study. Let's look at the next. I'm going to show you a couple here. And keep in mind, I've read these studies so many times that I can pretty much memorize them. But I'm going to show you in person. Okay. This one, Ostrowski, Wilson, Weatherby, Murphy. All right. Keep in mind, guys, I post the research all the time. I really think you should go read it. Just read it. Read it as many times as you have to understand it. I just don't see any other fitness experts breaking down this research. They're breaking down research which uses bench press and squat as measurements of strength. Silly research. And if you guys have research that shows higher volume produces greater increase in muscle size and strength, send it to me, because I will break it down and show you where it's wrong. And once you can break it down and you look into the research, like the one I did with Brad Schoenfeld, where he looked at 15 studies comparing volume, resistance training volume. Out of the 15 studies, 10 of them showed no difference. What was his conclusion? More volume is better. Why? Why did he say that? Follow the money. That's why he said that. I'm whistleblowing on all these frauds, and people are not going to like it. They're really not going to like it, but I don't care. I will literally show you the goddamn words if I need to, and you need to read it as many times as it takes you to understand this, because it is the truth and it is the fact. Let's see. The study examined the effects of different volumes of resistance training on muscle size and function over a 10-week period. Low volume was 3 sets per muscle group per week, moderate 6 sets, high 12 sets, okay? Increasing amounts of volume. All training volumes increase significantly. Why? Well, because when you stimulate the muscle, additional sets don't stimulate it anymore. So they're all going to increase to the same volume. There were no significant changes in hormonal concentrations. The results support the use of low-value training over a 10-week period. So this one was using hormonal output. They were measuring hormonal output, which probably isn't the best way to, that will measure an indication of potential increase in muscle size. But what they found in muscle size and strength, no significant difference. Also, no significant difference in hormonal concentrations. So everybody talks about, increasing testosterone. Well, it looks like you only need to do about 3 sets of per muscle group per week. Well, not even 3 sets. What the point is, increasing resistance training volume does not have an increasing improvement on anything related to muscle size, muscle strength, and hormonal output. Although they did what they considered low volume 3 sets per week per muscle group, what are people recommending? Brad Schoenfeld is recommending 10 to 20 sets of resistance training per muscle group per week. But this study is showing the same results from 3, 6, and 12. They didn't even measure one set of training per muscle group, and it probably would have still been the same. But as you can see, increasing resistance training volume per muscle group. So say, for instance, you want to grow your biceps. You do a pull down. You do a row. You do a hammer curl, a straight bar curl, a dumbbell curl. You did 15 sets on your biceps versus. So what does that say about biceps training? What does that say about lagging muscle groups? What this says about lagging muscle groups is that if you have a lagging muscle group, apparently doing more exercises and more sets for that muscle group is not going to result in additional muscle growth. This is a common question a lot of people have. I have a lagging muscle group. Do I do more exercise? Do I do this curl, that curl? No. Additional sets, additional exercises do not result in additional muscle growth. So what most of you are doing when you're trying to bring up a lagging body part by adding volume and adding exercises is you're wasting your time. In my VIP mentorship, links in the bio, I show you and work with you directly on increasing lagging muscle groups the correct way. Okay? Let's look at one more. All right, so this is Botaro. This was done in Brazil, I believe. Yeah, Brazil. Pretty well-known study. They measured. All right, they had two groups. One group did 3 sets of knee extension, 1 set of elbow flexion. Okay, so that's a leg extension and a curl. The other group did 1 set of leg extension, 3 sets of curls. Okay, so they were comparing resistance training volume. Now, between those 2 sets, the group that did 1 set of curls and 3 sets of curls. The group that did 1 set of curls, 7.2% increase in muscle thickness. The group that did 3 sets of biceps curls, 5.9. Okay. Statistically insignificant, but as you can see, the 1 set group actually did a little better, but it's still not enough to be noticeable. Keep that in mind. 1.5% is not enough to be a significant statistical difference. All right, so the changes in the quadriceps from knee extension between the group that did 1 set of knee extension and 3 sets of knee extension, they didn't grow much for either group, apparently. But the growth in elbow flexors were significant. So the conclusion is single set training protocols might be sufficient for increasing strength and muscle torque of the elbow flexors and the knee extenders. And as you can see, a little better for the elbow flexors, okay? So keep in mind, these are the studies. The studies I'm referring to are the same studies Schoenfeld refers to. I've never seen Mike Israetel refer to anything besides his own ego. And he sits there like short little fat bastard that he is with his arrogance and his twitching. I've never seen them refer to any studies. And the studies that they'll refer to are usually meta-analysis that are poorly controlled. And then when you look at the studies included in the meta-analysis, they don't show what they're saying the meta-analysis shows. Like, for instance, let me bring that one Schoenfeld study up. Let me see. Where is that? Oh, here it is. So here's that Schoenfeld study that somebody sent saying shows that more volume produces better results. Doesn't. So this is what somebody sent me. Here's a meta-analysis. Schoenfeld and Krieger, high volume guys. Again, what's their conclusion? The findings indicate that a graded dose-response relationship whereby increases in resistance training volume produces greater gains in muscle hypertrophy. So when was the study done? 2016? All right, this study was done in 2016, but when I refer to a study done in 2013, it's old and outdated. Interesting. So they looked at 15 studies, right? They looked at 15 studies. And what they concluded was more resistance training volume resulted in more muscle hypertrophy. Interesting. They included the studies that I just showed you. Remember? Bataro. We just looked at that one. Ostrowski. Just looked at that one. Starkey. Just looked at that one. Which is interesting because when you start to look at it, let me get my highlighter out here. Out of the 15 studies, here we go. No significant difference in muscle thickness. No significant difference in muscle volume. No significant difference. No significant difference. No significant difference. No significant difference. How do I erase this? I'm going to erase this one. Can't, apparently. Anyway. And here we go. No significant difference in muscle thickness. No significant difference in lean body mass. No significant difference in lean body mass. No significant difference in muscle thickness. 10 out of the 15 studies that they looked at. Damn, why can't I get rid of this thing? How do I undo it? An eraser? Let me tell you, I wish I was better at computers. Anyway, 10 out of the 15 that they looked at showed no significant difference in muscle mass. Most of them, 66%. So why is their conclusion this? You want to know why? Follow the money. I don't know how more evident I can make this. We're looking at the same research. I'm reading the conclusions and looking at the data and finding that 1 set and 3 sets don't provide any significant difference. They're looking at the same research and saying it does. Why? Now, as you guys may notice, there are agendas in this world. Everywhere. The fitness industry is not immune to particular agendas. There are powers that be that want to make money. I don't blame them. Everybody wants to make money. When you get to the point where you start making huge, large sums of money, I think people tend to get greedy and they want to make more. And that's when they start being dishonest. The problem I have with this, I don't have a problem with people trying to make money in the fitness industry. Whatever, do your thing. But requiring people do 20 sets per week, per muscle group, is wasting their time. This is an asset you do not get back. So you are wasting people's lives by recommending more sets per muscle group. You are also contributing to more wear and tear, more acute trauma and microtrauma that may potentially result in an injury. So it's not just the fact that they want to make more money. They're messing with your health. They're messing with your time. We've got people who are obese, who have metabolic diseases, cardiovascular disease, which can be literally fucking reversed if they did 1 hard set of a handful of exercises per week. But the problem is, these people are not aware that all they need is 1 hard set of controlled, safely performed exercise per week to live a longer, healthier, more fulfilling life. Not only that, when you improve your body composition, when you reduce fat, build muscle, increase muscular strength, improve cardiovascular and metabolic fitness, there's a significant increase in testosterone, serotonin, and dopamine, which will bring down a huge amount of mental health conditions. So that's the problem I have with this. The problem I have with this is that there are many people who have so many health issues and they won't take care of it because they're under the assumption they need to be in the gym 5 or 6 days a week for an hour. These are people with families. These are people with obligations that can't take 3 hours out of their day with travel, 2 hours out of their day with travel. And they're letting their health slide as a result. This could be saving people's lives. If they knew that all they required was one hard set of a handful of exercises, which work the major muscle groups of the body, you'd be saving lives. And this is why I'm an asshole about this. This isn't my ego. This is the fact that there are people who don't give a shit about you, and all they care about is money. And they are shortening your lives to make money. That should irritate you. It irritates me because the evidence is right here. You've got people doing hours of cardio a day trying to lose weight, wasting their time. Why? Sell gym memberships, sell sneakers, sell water bottles, sell leggings. It's a shame. So I'll answer some questions. That's the research. Read the research. The title's right there. Read it. Read it as many times as you have to drill it into your head, your unfortunately indoctrinated mind and conditioned mind, to realize that most people are wasting so much time in the gym. Now, keep in mind, this is for the people who feel like they don't have time. If you like the gym, if you like gym culture, personally, I despise gym culture. It makes me sick to my stomach. But if you like gym culture, if you like going, then be less efficient. That's fine. It's simply like taking the scenic route. You know, say I wanted to go to Orlando, but I decided to go up and through Ocala just to look at the woods and look at the scenery. It's fine. I'm choosing to waste time for another goal. But if you're an individual who's busy, has children, family, and other obligations, and you're finding it hard to get in shape and maintain your health for your family, then we've got a problem. That is the people who need this. Okay. All right. I'm open for some questions here. The only rules I have about questions is do not ask me things like if I work out once or twice or 3 times a week, which is better. Okay. Do not ask me questions. What's better, this chest press or that chest press? Okay. I've covered this stuff so many times. All right. I want to cover new things. If you are new, I'm not going to bite your head off today. All right. If you are new, watch old content. All right. Don't skip to the front of the line and just ask a question. Put some effort in. Learn the stuff. I've got so much content out there. Content that would take you 10 years of education in exercise. Content that will teach you more than a PhD in exercise science will. Because I'll be honest, I have a client in my coaching class who has a master's in exercise. It doesn't know anything. Okay. All right, let's see. Can I lose the fat eating clean but still bulking? No. Bulking means additional calories. You cannot lose fat if you're in a calorie surplus. It's fucking insane. Let's see. Happy customer here. You changed my life. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay. Trying to help you guys live a long, healthy, safe, fulfilling life by not wasting an hour and a half in the gym doing fucking reps in reserve. Are deadlifts good for increasing testosterone levels? Well, we just went over that. Anything you do with high level of intensity and muscular effort will increase testosterone levels. There's nothing particularly special about a deadlift. That is a myth and a stupid one at that. A properly done set to true failure between 90 and 180 seconds makes a second set impossible to do. Yes, correct. Can you please post all the important research papers in the chat, please? No. I've done that so many times. Here, this is what I'll do. I'll post this paper, and this has all the research. when you scroll to the bottom, it cites all of the research. Read this paper and read all the research. It's all right there. What about people just interested in overall physical fitness or very obese individuals? Wouldn't such people benefit from more exercise even daily? No, they wouldn't. Nobody will benefit from more exercise. Exercise is a specific activity. Walking is not exercise. General movement, what you're referring to is activity. Will obese people benefit from daily activity? Yes. Will they benefit from daily exercise? No. Exercise and activity are two different things. Exercise is strengthening activity. Exercise is a particular specific activity with a specific goal to stimulate improvements in the general and trainable factors of functional ability, mostly muscular strength. Exercise is strength training. Everything else is just activity because it does not purposefully attempt to stimulate an improvement in muscular strength. Obese individuals will benefit from daily activity, but not daily exercise. It will be too intense. You could not strength train with an appropriate level of intensity daily. You would run yourself into the ground. If you would train for football, how would you do it to get the best stamina in the team? Scrimmage, practice. Practice the game with a high level of intensity. That's all you need to do. Ace, be quiet. All right, let's see. I would love to see you do videos on studies on the heart health benefits of HIIT. You, Doug, Drew, and John Little. Have you seen the one Drew and Doug did? I'll find it for you. Doug is an emergency room physician. He deals with heart attacks every damn day. Okay? He explains it perfectly in this video. I'm posting it. Boom. There you go. Watch it. I don't need to do it. Doug and Drew have done it. I don't do videos on things that have already been done. Notice I don't do an entire body weight workout. Why? Why don't I come out with a body weight workout? Drew Bay already did it and to a level of effectiveness that cannot be beaten. So why would I do it? If you guys are interested in a body weight workout, I'm only doing things that have not been done before. If you guys are interested in an extremely effective body weight only workout, Drew Bay has done it. And in my opinion, cannot be done any better. There it is. Why would I come out with one? Maybe him and I will do a video series on it in the future, but he's done it. So I'm not, I don't really see the need to do another video on high intensity training and heart improvements. Drew Bay and Doug did one. I'll just share their video, right? Unless you guys want my dumb face on it. Why do you need me there? Let's see. Is that the same for small muscle groups such as calves and forearms? Is what the same? The subjects in the first study were untrained, though, so wouldn't newbie gains be as confounding variable in the case? The reason is most newbie gains are neuromuscular. So here's the thing with that. Newbie gains, most beginners experience a fast increase in strength. Most of it is neuromuscular in nature. Okay. So when an individual is doing a bench press or a squat or even a chest press, they will see a rapid increase in strength, which is neuromuscular. These studies are valid with untrained individuals because they're using isometric force or isometric torque as the measurement, which does not include neuromuscular adaptations. If you were using other movements that required some sort of skill, then you would not want to use untrained individuals. But if you are using measurements which require no skill at all, isometric force production, that makes untrained individuals, you can study untrained individuals. Okay? Does that make sense? So a new trainee will experience not rapid increases in muscle growth, really. No trainees do. So new trainees, new versus advanced, the muscle growth rate is going to be pretty much the same. What new trainees experience is rapid increases in strength or ability to do more weight on an exercise, which is almost entirely neurological in nature. But the reason why it does not apply to this is because they did not use movements which require neuromuscular improvement or adaptation. Okay? Robert, quick question. Can you give an example of a warm-up before a typical HIIT workout? Here's the thing. If warm-ups are required or useful for intense physical activity, like a sport, the way most people train, which is with high momentum, sloppy force, and like utter shit, they're going to want to warm up. When I say a warm-up is not required, I'm saying that if you train this way, properly, slow and controlled. If you're training slowly and controlled, the muscle's affinity for calcium and things that dilation of the blood vessels, increase in heart rate, increase in blood volume, those things happen within the first slow repetitions. There's no need for a warm-up. But if you are doing a shitty workout like most people do, yeah, warm up. If you're doing a sport or physical activity, fuck yeah, warm up. What would your warm-up be for a physical activity? Lightly practicing the movement associated with that activity. If you want to do cardio, warm-up sets, what I would recommend, this is what I do for a warm-up. I don't like to come in off the street and just crush it. I do one light set of the first exercise, just kind of get my head in the game. It's mostly psychological. And then no more warm-ups. I do not recommend stretching before a workout. Here's why. Let me find my book. All right. So this book, Body by Science, is a research-based book. All the research cited in the back. Oh, I think there was a study cited in this with stretching, okay? This is why you do not want to stretch before a workout. It reduces stretching 109, 110, okay? I'll explain to you why stretching is not ideal. People think I pull this shit out of my ass, but no. Let's see where it's at. 217. I just got to find the right page. Keep the questions coming while I do this. Coaching folklore. Read this book. Stretching is coaching folklore. Okay. I'm going to read this for you. All right. Most injuries in organized sports, 60%, occur during practice. And the coaches and many of their pregame and practice rituals are largely to blame. One long-held and highly cherished ritual that has been shown to be without physiological purpose is stretching. It is commonly assumed that athletes should stretch for two important reasons. One, to warm up the muscles prior to participation in the sport. Two, to reduce the chance of injury in competition. No one would dispute an athlete's muscles and connective tissue should be warmed up and that viscosity should be reduced prior to engaging in athletic contest. However, the means to this has been usurped by an activity called stretching, an activity that does neither of these things. Okay. All right. Ready? Ace, be quiet, please. Be quiet. Sorry, my dog's being really annoying. Stretching. Quiet. Here, your ball. Don't get a Malinois, guys. A report issued by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention combed through the research databases for studies that compared stretching with other ways to prevent training injuries. It combined data from 5 studies in an effort to identify any benefits that might come to light as a pattern. The report concluded that people who stretch were no less likely to suffer injuries, such as pulled muscles, at those who don't, or compared to those who don't, and that stretching did nothing to prevent injuries. And even more stinging indictment came from a study of Honolulu marathon runners, which found that stretching before exercise is more likely to cause injury than prevent it. A study done with Honolulu marathon runners. Additional articles revealing hundreds of studies on stretching came to essentially the same conclusion. Stretching does not prevent injury or muscle soreness. One study oversaw a huge database of 1,538 male Army recruits who were randomly allocated to stretch or control groups. During the ensuing 12 weeks of training, both groups performed an active warm-up exercise before physical training sessions. But in addition, the stretching group performed one 20-second static stretch under supervision for each of the 6 major leg muscle groups during every warm-up. The control group did not stretch. The research concluded that a typical muscle stretching protocol performed during pre-exercise as a warm-up does not produce clinically meaningful reductions in risk of exercise-related injury. Okay? Pointless. Stretching doesn't make an athlete more flexible either. Study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, the research concluded that the flexibility index decreased significantly after stretching. Don't need to stretch. British Journal of Sports Medicine. What chapter is this? Idea program training for athletes. I'll find the study for you. Why not? That's what we do here, right? We do evidence. We don't do folklore. We don't do tradition. We do evidence. And the evidence seems to make a lot of people cry, and I don't care. Let's see. Chapter 10. All right. I'm going to find the study on stretching in the British Journal of Sports Medicine that looked at 1,500 subjects and found that stretching does nothing. Okay. I'm going to put the nail in this damn coffin forever because I'm really sick of hearing about stretching. You want proof? I'll give you proof. Ready? Here it is. I'm going to find it for you guys, and I'm going to post it. To prove stretching does not reduce chance of injury. But guess what? Every master's in exercise science will tell you it does. You want to know why? Because they've been misled and taught the wrong stuff. Sorry you wasted your money. Well, you did. If you have a master's in exercise science, boy, did you waste a lot of money. Here, I'm posting in the comments right now The analysis from the British Journal of Sports Medicine finding that stretching prior to exercise did not reduce chance of injury. Have fun. There it is. Perhaps isometrics require no skill in the sense that we usually mean skill. We don't mean skill by anything. There's a definition for skill. But isometric strength increases via repeated sessions, improving awareness of what the effort requires. No. Wrong. Let's see. All right, let's see. I keep training to muscle failure on all muscles, but my delayed onset muscle soreness on abs is intolerable and very intense pain compared to all other muscles. What exercise are you doing? It could be a result of excessive damage with no additional stimulation, and you might want to change the exercise. Please reply with what exercise you're doing, and we'll take a look. Here's a good. Can't believe people buy into supplements. Fun fact, not one fitness supplement on the market is FDA approved. I know. It's basically fucking candy. Creatine has benefits. Yes, creatine, but creatine has pretty solid amount of research behind it. But again, you're not going to take two individuals. One takes creatine, one doesn't, and the one who does turns into Jay Cutler. Sorry. You probably won't notice. All right, nausea. How do you feel when it's time for muscle failure? Is it when you feel nauseous? No. Muscle failure should be in deep, intense muscular discomfort and the ability to contract your muscles with a lot of force. Very simple. Is it when you feel nauseous? No. If you are feeling nauseous, likely you're a beginner. You need to make sure that you have eaten before your workout. Okay. Most of the time you're feeling nauseous because you're training on an empty stomach and you have a very significant drop in blood sugar. This usually causes the nausea. Follow the fart. Yeah. You might want to take a Gatorade with you and sip on it during the workout to keep sugar going into your bloodstream. Mike Mentor says, if one sperm tadpole has a potential for so much life, why can't one set at the potential to build muscle? I did not hear him say that. That's funny. That's funny. Let's see. Yeah, if you mention Mentor, you have to mention Ayn Rand in the same sentence. Yeah, I've listened to the book The Fountainhead. I've listened to a lot of books. That's one recommendation I could give you guys. You guys want to be a top 1% man? Listen to books every day. Listen to them on fast speed. You don't have to sit there and read them. I don't have time to sit and read. But I can put my headphone in and listen to a book all fucking day. Do that. There's so much to learn. Donnie also liked amphetamines. Yeah. Mike Mentor. Mike Mentor was a lot like me. And a lot of people tell me that I'm like Mike Mentor's fucking clone. Never met the guy. I don't even know much about Mike Mentor. I haven't really. People think that like Mike Mentor is like my idol. I don't know anything about the guy. I've read like a book or two. He's cool, whatever. I don't really know much about him. I don't care. But a lot of people say I'm like him. And we are hyper obsessive productive individuals. So the story, as I hear it from John Little, Mike Mentor was so hyper productive and so obsessed with production and being productive, kind of like I am. I get one spare hour and I have to do a live stream because I'm crazy, that he started taking amphetamines so he didn't have to sleep. And that beat the shit out of him, unfortunately. But you also notice most geniuses kind of lose their mind. All right. Being too smart is a thing. Like Nikola Tesla. Let's see. Regarding tendon strength, I read that it requires at least 8 to 12 weeks for growth. Instead of muscles, it requires as little as 8 days. That's not specific enough. You mean it takes 8 to 12 weeks for tendons to increase in strength? Probably. It's probably slower. Can I overtrain with 200 push-ups in the morning when I train 5 evenings a week? Yes. Very dumb question. All right. What range of motion do you recommend on bodyweight dips on parallel bars? Well, anecdotally, personally, I notice if I go too deep. So remember, we're putting our biceps in passive insufficiency, right? The biceps is in a lengthened position, a position of shoulder extension and flexion here. So I notice pain in my biceps tendons when I go deep like that. As far as you want, you don't need to go too far. I would just avoid lockout and don't go too deep because you're going to stretch your proximal biceps tendon. Okay, that's this one up here. You got your proximal tendon and your distal tendon. Distal, distance, proximal, close. So easy. All right. Carnivore diet, do not recommend. Silly. We're not carnivores. Why would we do a carnivore diet if we're not carnivores? We have 98% chimpanzee DNA. They're not carnivores. How many calories should you eat on a workout day if eating a deficit on the rest of the days? Impossible to determine, dude. I have to know all the specifics of your situation. I can't answer that. Click the link in my bio for coaching. Not cheap, but worth it. Why don't some personal trainers know about the one set to failure and use it for their clients? Well, most personal trainers get certifications by the NSCA, NASM, ACE. And what's interesting about these certifications is the first half on physiology is good, solid. How a motor unit works, how the cardiovascular system works. Then you get into the training application, and everything about applying the training is just tradition BS. That's why they don't know. Do you think blood flow restriction has any benefit in either increased intensity of recovery? No, absolutely not. Yes, it's a fad. It would not. How would it have anything to do with recovery? No. So I think the belief behind blood flow restriction training is it keeps lactate in the muscle longer for a better metabolic stimulus. But if you're doing slow reps, you're doing the same thing. Does daily intake of protein mean a gram of protein per pound of current body weight or target body weight? Target body weight. Be quiet. Stop. I think my dog gets upset when I yell at he's probably like, why is this dude yelling at a plastic object? Let's see. I was wondering if it's normal for repetitions to go down after several months of performing certain exercise. No, it means you're overtraining. Reduce your volume. Can heavy wrestling sparring induce some muscle inroad? Hell yeah. Because I often feel sore the day after and unable to recruit muscles as good as before. Yes. If you're noticing this, then you need more time between wrestling, sparring, and training. Sparring is intense, man. There are studies that show therapeutic benefits post-injury. Okay, which ones? Yeah, it's kind of useless unless you provide the study. Let's see. Is there any concerns other than fatigue in trying to do competitive sports without several rest days between strength training? Yeah, I mean, if you are, you really shouldn't be doing strength training during a competitive season, because you're going to be, there's so much wear and tear and overuse, and just you're beating your body up during the competitive season. that tacking on resistance training would just make everything worse. So I wouldn't do it. Right. I noticed that newbie gains are all strength in some size, but nothing crazy in size. Mostly it's an increase in muscle glycogen. Your bodies get more sensitive to holding muscle glycogen, which will give you a little more size. Not muscle. So the newbie gains are always neurological in nature. And that's the thing. I mean, a lot of you guys probably have not been told that, and that's why you're here, right? After finding your videos and buying a program from you, plus getting the book Body by Science, was one of the best decisions I've made. Yes, that's a good decision because now you know how to properly apply exercise for the rest of your life. You are going to be an injury-free, healthy, emotionally healthy individual with a lot of time. You've just increased the quality of your life. Ace, be quiet, please. How do you combine practicing a skill multiple times a week and HIIT, which should be done only once a week? Just do them separately. Pretty easy. This is smart. This is smart. No such thing as 3 sets. There's really just 1 set with 2 inexplicable pauses. Dude, that's brilliant. And I'm going to use that. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. 2 inexplicable pauses. Yeah. All right. I've been lifting for a couple months. I'm wondering when I'll stop gaining size. Well, you generally see your genetic potential within about 2 years, 2 to 3. If you don't stretch, you get stiff in the muscles, I was told as a kid. Well, by who? Your gym teacher? Who has a high school diploma? Probably. Let's see, I'm doing HIIT at 20% body fat, and my weight is staying the same, but definitely gaining muscle. Yes, if you want to get lower percentage body fat, you have to restrict your calories. No way around it. All right, let's see. Using ab crunch machine like this one, Selection 900 abdominal crunch. Let me see. Oh, Technogym. You know, and you're getting really sore. I don't know. Reduce the frequency. Only do it once a week. I train abs like once every or twice a month. All right. 1 upper, 1 lower, enough stimulus? Yes. Oh, by the way, guys, I'm doing HIIT home workout free again today with Golden Era. All right. So if you buy the Golden Era system, you're getting the home workout video series for free as well. It's a bunch of videos that teach you how to train your entire body at home with minimal and sometimes no equipment. You know, I've got exercises in there that teach you how to do extremely effective exercises using a furniture lifting strap, which will cost you about $8 at Walmart. In my HIIT home workout, there's the most effective leg exercise you will ever do. Better than a squat, better than a leg press, better than anything in the HIIT home workout. You're getting it for absolutely free. Remember, I have to send them out manually. So keep in mind, like if you get Golden Era system, you're not going to automatically get the HIIT home workout. I have to go in and do it. And I usually wait till the end of the day. But you're getting access to awesome exercises you can do at home with, in many cases, no equipment or just minimal dumbbells. So you're getting that for free today. Go ahead, get Golden Era system. You get it for free. Let's see. Thoughts on dumbbells? All right. Would you recommend this style using body weight or resistance bands for teens? Not resistance bands. They suck. My kids are swimmers and fed up with the dry land workouts that this facility provides. Well, if your kids are swimmers and they want to be, better swimmers, they want to make the muscles involved with swimming stronger so they can produce more force, right? This style of training is just the best style. Body weight, yes. Resistance bands, no. How do I minimize the muscle burning during workout? Shorter sets, shorter time under load. So you want to reach failure anywhere between like 6 and 20 controlled repetitions. You might want to choose a shorter time under load, maybe somewhere between 6 and 8 repetitions, because what the research has found is that it seems to be a little more uncomfortable with longer sets, but the results are the same. So that's what you want to do. Do you still get sore after your workouts? I just started Monday, and as you can imagine, I was really sore. No, I do not. What I do feel is intense muscle fatigue for a few days after, but you should stop getting sore. How would you manage high-intensity training with a very physically demanding job, such as construction work? Probably less volume and less frequency. You probably have to cut it back a little bit. All right, when I did my first HIIT workout, I couldn't do a push-up a few hours later, but after the second HIIT session, I actually could do push-ups. Is that a normal adaptation? Yes. Called an increase in strength. That's the purpose of your body. The purpose of the strength training adaptation is for that exact reason. So you, the organism, the animal, suffered from deep, intense muscular inroad, which was threatening to your body. Your body made an adaptation so that it would have more in reserve if this threat came along again. The second workout, the threat came along again. And guess what happened? You had more in reserve, aka your ability to do push-ups afterward. You survived, basically. All right, the science of blood flow restriction. I'll read it, but I don't really see. Here's the thing with blood flow restriction. You can only train the muscles on your limbs. You can only train your legs and your arms. That's pretty useless. I mean, what are you going to do if you want to train blood flow restriction for your lats and your delts? You can't even do it. That's why it's silly. You can only do it for your forearms, biceps, calves, quads, and hamstrings. So why are people so crazy about this? Oh, by the way, with questions, keep in mind, one of the questions I don't really like answering is, this exercise versus that exercise. All exercises are equally effective if you're fatiguing the muscle deeply enough. Doesn't matter what you use. Doesn't matter what you feel. Doesn't matter. All right. I did 6 minutes of assault bike after my 20-minute pull workout. Pointless. If you did your pull workout hard enough, you shouldn't have been able to do it, honestly. You should have been like, shit, I'm done, and want to go home. These questions I don't answer. All right. Don't ask me about your training volume and frequency, please. I don't answer those. Does that mean my second workout was insufficient? No. It means you got stronger. Liver King seems to overtrain like crazy. Well, does he? I mean, are those his actual workouts, or is he just filming? Plus, Liver King is on so much trend, he's going to be dead in a couple of years. All right, muscle memory. There's no such thing as muscle memory. Muscles don't have brains. This is a nervous system neurological adaptation. According to research by Dr. Robert Singer, who is a neuroscientist from University of Florida, in the 50s, he did a lot of research on the nervous system. He found that learning is permanent, and you only have to unlock it again. So what muscle memory is that permanent learning coming back, neuromuscular efficiency. And how fast is it? I don't know. But the muscle memory is just when you learn, it's like riding a bike. When you get a neuromuscular adaptation, it's there forever. Granted, you have the strength and the other physical capacity to use it. It'll come back. How fast? I don't know. What's the difference between muscle fatigue and soreness? Soreness is just mechanical damage, just muscle damage, inflammation. Fatigue is, well, it's a combination. Inflammation of the muscle, an overall reduction in its ability to produce force temporarily. So basically what happens is you have so much inflammation and molecular damage in the muscle that it's unable to produce the contractile force it was able to produce before you beat the hell out of it. That's generally what muscle fatigue is. There are some nervous system phenomena too associated with muscle fatigue. So the nervous system's ability to recruit that muscle again is reduced. Soreness is subjective. Soreness is mostly the pain receptor's response to the stress. So you can have not all that much damage and still be very sore because you have sensitive pain receptors. And what Drew was telling me is that there's some research that the pain receptors actually adapt and get less sensitive over time, which is part of the reason why you don't get sore. So they're completely different. All right, let's see. Some days I feel stronger than others, normal. Example, pullover machine, I can do 185 for 10 reps. 5 days later, if I try the same exercise, I will do 8 with the same weight. Again, you're not going to get stronger and improve every workout to a certain point. In the beginning, you'll get stronger almost every workout, but most of that is because of the nervous system adaptation. But when you've been training for a while, it's going to ebb and flow. You're going to be like stronger, weaker, stronger, weaker, stronger, weaker, and then you're going to gradually go up. It's not linear. It's not how your body is. So just continue. Don't be obsessed with it. Continue. Go to failure. When you're ready to move up in weight, move up in weight. Who gives a shit how much weight you're doing? I do biceps curls with 40 pounds. You think I give a shit? Who cares? So Mike Mentor died so fast because of steroids plus stimulus. No, it had nothing to do with the steroids. It had to do with he drank a lot, he smoked a lot, and he took a lot of amphetamines, and he barely slept. And he ate like shit. Mike Mentor was off steroids for fucking 10, 15 years before he died. Steroids didn't have anything to do with that. Vitamin C after workout to help immune system? Bullshit. You know, guys, stop worrying about this stuff. Stop worrying about this little dumb shit. Focus on eating well, sleeping enough, training hard. Stop focusing on like when you take vitamin C. This is what the fitness industry did to people. The reason people even think in this way is because of content creators. So content creators ran out of shit to talk about. So they started coming up with just videos about bullshit, about nonsense, like, you know, something like this supplement, that supplement, working out in the morning versus working out at night, because they need to create content. They need traffic coming to their website. Don't worry about this minor stuff. Nothing like this would ever make a difference that you would notice. Is fatigue the stimulus? If yes, what is stimulus to fatigue ratio? Dude, what? Stimulus to fatigue ratio? You can't measure fatigue with a number or stimulus with a number. What? Stimulus to fatigue ratio? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Already answered this. Go back in the thing. What's the minimum amount of sleep when doing HIIT? Sleep is subjective. Everybody needs different amounts. I need 7.5. That's what I noticed. Some people need 9. Older people need 6. Subjective. There isn't. Thoughts on dumbbell squats? I don't know. I don't like them. I don't know. Kind of hard to balance. Not my favorite. All right, guys, a couple more questions. Remember, HIIT home workout is free. If you guys want to work with me directly with video coaching calls twice a week for 2 to 3 hours, unlimited access to me for questions like this, unlimited. There's a link in the bio for my 12-week coaching. The coaching's actually unlimited. You have access to me for the rest of your life when you join my coaching, direct access. Just what I've noticed is that after 12 weeks, people know exactly what they're doing. They don't need me. All right. So if you guys want to learn all of this in detail directly from me, coaching you, and have unlimited access to me for the rest of your life, there's a link in the bio. Join the coaching. Okay. Solve all your problems. Do variations matter? No, bullshit. Opinion on ECA stack. I don't know what that is. Do you ever train calves? Yes. Leg press and squats are obviously not enough to stimulate an adaptive response in that area. Right, you're correct. You should do exercises for the calves. 1. You should add it to the Golden Era. I didn't because it's like so hard to fuck up a calf raise. It literally doesn't matter how you do it. I mean, it's just, to me, it was just kind of a waste of time to film and edit a video of me doing a heel raise. Because in all honesty, you can do them fast. You can do them slow. You can do them with any piece of equipment. It doesn't matter. That's why I didn't do it. All right. This question is usually common. I'm 5'7", 112, really skinny with Golden Era exercises. What should I expect for muscle weight gain over time? Impossible to tell. All right. Impossible to tell. You know, I know you're anxious. You don't like being skinny. And you want to know. You want comfort in knowing how much weight you can gain. I don't know. But you will gain weight. You need to do something about it. To fatigue ratio, but I don't know what that is. He's making that shit up. I don't know what the fuck that means either. That's just stupid. How do you measure? How do you put a number? You can't put a number to the stimulus. I think what he's talking about is, I don't know. I think he might be talking about how effective the exercise is in terms of producing a stimulus versus the amount of damage it produces. That's what he's talking about, fatigue. But he's stupid, so he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Idiot. All right, that's a good question. Starting with 2 sets during the first few weeks of HIIT, fine? Yes. Since I find it hard to reach the intensity with 1, yes. 1 set is all that is required considering you do it properly. Doesn't mean you always do. Do you do anything to increase flexibility? No. Here's why. All right, let's look at what Body by Science says in terms of flexibility. 109. This book is so old, it's stained. All right, flexibility. A study conducted on young people who performed a strength training program, the experiments concluded that the strength-trained subjects were able to improve their range of movement far more than were the control subjects. Okay, so in a nutshell, strength training improves flexibility. In another study, 48 subjects who performed Nautilus strength training over a period of 8 weeks improved their hip trunk flexibility by 2.5 inches without performing any stretching exercises, while simultaneously increasing muscle strength by 50%. Okay. This is about flexibility, all right? Pay attention to this. In setting up an appropriate resistance training program, the selected exercises should track muscle and joint function and apply resistance through full flexion to full extension within reason. You don't need extreme flexion and extreme extension. Keep that in mind. Built into proper resistance exercise is an application of force at the extremes of a muscle's safe range of motion. For some joints, this may mean that we're going to improve or increase the range of that joint, but for other joints, an enhanced flexibility may actually be a result in a decrease in that joint's range of motion. Most of the problems and derangements that occur in the shoulder joint, for example, are a result not of inadequate flexibility, but of excessive flexibility. The increased strength and development of the surrounding rotator cuff muscles, as well as the deltoid musculature, may diminish the range of the shoulder joint somewhat, but in a way that protects the joint. Okay? So this is why I say increased flexibility isn't necessarily a good functional trait. Teaching your body to go into an unsafe position increases its risk for injury. Now, when your muscles get stronger, a lot of times what they'll do is kind of prevent you from going in unsafe positions because of the muscular strength. We'll be able to prevent it from going in that position. So you don't necessarily want to increase flexibility. This is like this weird, stupid myth in the fitness industry that the more flexible you are, the better. No, the more flexible you are, the higher chance of injuring your fucking joint. Hey. So, no, I don't do anything for flexibility. You shouldn't. No meals, just starve. All right, here we go. Last question, guys, okay? This is the last one I'm doing. Was talking about HIIT with someone who wanted to not go to failure to keep reps in the tank. Definitively, why does doing more reps per week matter? Less than intensity. So there's some research done. I got to remember his name. I got to ask Drew. Scientist at Arizona State University did a lot of research on more reps versus less reps in terms of damage accumulation, stress and inflammation accumulation, and stimulus. What he found was that more reps accumulate more stress, more damage, and more inflammation, thus prolonging the recovery period with no difference in stimulus. This is why this is dumb. People are unaware of this research. Some people want to loosen the form to get more reps, but what this individual scientist found was that more reps just accumulate more damage with no additional stimulus. You actually want minimal reps, as minimal reps as possible to, get the neural adaptation working the muscle through the joint. So when people are leaving reps in reserve, they're simply getting the same stimulus with more damage, prolonging recovery period. Pointless. Absolutely pointless. I'm going to find this. I forgot the name of this researcher at Arizona State, but he studied this, man. Reps in the tank is a fad. It will die off. Yeah, I don't know. This is my opinion on reps in the tank. I think that these people are too much of wimps to train hard. So they're finding an excuse for not having to, because they're too scared and too wimpy to train hard, that they're finding justification for training less hard and training more. I think Brad Schoenfeld is one of these people. I think he's afraid to train hard. Because when I saw what his failure looks like, it was utterly pathetic. I had 60-year-old women training harder than Brad Schoenfeld. All right. Books to read about HIIT. One more question. Books to read about HIIT. This. You want a book to read about HIIT? Yeah, this is true too. They want to go to the gym more often. This is one of the best books to read about HIIT. Okay. All right, guys. That's it for me today. Good questions. The HIIT home workout video series, free today when you get Golden Era System, goldenerasystem.com. If you want to do this with me directly for 3 to 6 hours a week in my coaching program and learn everything directly from me and my small group of students, click the link in the description to join my coaching. I'll help you transform your physique and understand exercise and make you an expert in the process. All right? What have you got to lose? All right, guys, hit the like, subscribe, bell notification, follow. Follow me on TikTok, _J_Vincent. Apparently, that's where things are headed these days. I have to do TikToks. I post and ghost because I fucking hate them. Wait, what is this? Is it possible you would mangle Joe Rogan in a fight and handle him as if he was a baby deer? No, Joe Rogan would fuck me up. Joe Rogan would beat my fucking ass. Are you kidding me? Joe Rogan's a trained martial artist. What kind of question is that? Let's see. I can't go to failure. Would Golden Era System be better? Or if you can't go to failure properly, you've got a lot of things to work on. You need the coaching. Click the link in the description. I believe you booked a call with me before and never went through. But make sure you show up to the call, please. Don't waste my time. All right. You need coaching. All right. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. And I'll see you soon. Go get Golden Era System. Get the home workout for free today. Go for it.